Welcome all of you. Me, Pralhad Mapari, welcoming all of you in the Dnyanadeep's PYQ series. Today we are going to start the ethics in governance perspective and the PYQs from the ethics in governance aspect. So we all know that before attempting or practicing the answers of the questions and their answers in the ethics paper or GS4 paper, we have to understand the nature of a question paper because it is based on that only. So for example, let's say we all know the GS4 paper is of 250 marks, right? Of which contains 19 questions, out of which 13 questions are of a theoretical nature. That is, means directly from the syllabus, or the other part contains the 6 case studies which consist of 20 marks each. These are the case studies. We all know this pattern, right? So these 13 questions are of a 10 marker each and 150 words only. So we have to practice each question from the ethics only for about 150 words. We need to understand this fact. We did not have to prepare a thoroughly for the 250 words or the bigger essay or bigger notes. There is no need of a bigger notes for each and every point. So this is where the crux of the ethics lies. We should have the minimum basic knowledge of that point and hence contain the only one page notes of that particular point in the syllabus, but we should cover it thoroughly. Along with that, there are a lot of concepts in the ethics, right? Each concept has its definition. Concepts or the terms. So definition becomes the essential aspect of the ethics paper. Integrity, objectivity, emotions, anger, attitude, emotional behavior, all these things, probity, e-governance, all these things has their definition and we should be part of your answer. So many times you will observe that the introduction of the ethics questions will start with the definition. If not introduction, then you should at least have to have the definition at your hand. So definition contains the meaning and then comes the example. So ethics is all about the examples. You have to explain it with using the examples. Many times the question explicitly mention that justify or give suitable examples. So question itself demand you should give examples. If it is not, you have to write the examples. So you need many kind of examples. At least each topic should contain 1 or 2 examples in your notes. So we have to keep in that mind. So let's say 150 words, out of which there are 30-40 words for your definition and 10 words for your example. Means for each topic you already expended the 50 words. Now the question only demands 50 words. So you have to write the question in 100 words. So you have to prepare each topic so that there would be if there would be a question from that topic, you have to have the knowledge or content of 100 words at least, that of a quality knowledge. Are you getting it? This is how the ethics is as simple as that. So let's begin. Ethics series we are going to start the ethics series with the governance aspect. So there are 3 to 4 subjects in the ethics. One of them is a philosophy. So we will observe that the various social reformers, even philosophers, thinkers, there is a direct quote, syllabus of point number 5, right? So there is a direct philosophy connection. So you have to have the philosophical understanding somewhat, which is more of a ethical terms. Then second, like Plato's cardinal principles, Bentham's utilitarianism, etc. Then there is a psychology. Emotions, attitude, anger, emotional intelligence, etc. This comes under the psychology. There is some part of a sociology and very small part. For example, role of family, role of school, educational institution, role of religion, etc. Very small part. And major part consists of public administration. You can also call it as a governance, ethical governance part. Or to be specific, syllabus content says ethics in governance. So this is all about the subjects, and we are going to start with this public administration or the ethics in the governance. So let's begin with the questions. So very first thing, we have to follow the same procedure. Identify the question, determine the demand of the question, understand the question. Very first aspect, understand the meaning of the question or the demand of the question. So what is the demand of the question? Let's say identify, they themselves saying identify the 10 essential values that are needed to be an effective public servant. So this is the repetitive question. So one times they ask about the 5 traits of the public servant. One time they ask give any 3 values and explain it that are important for the effective public servant. So they just keep changing this number, but this is going to be asked after each and alternate year or 2 years after. So this question says that you have to identify the 10 essential values that are needed for the public servant, but this is the only one part. Second part says describe the ways and means to prevent unethical behavior in the public servant. So we all know that there are many unethical behaviors in the public servant. You have to say that there are different ways and means that you should implement to prevent this. This is the understanding of the question, which contains one part and second part of the question. Now, what is the crux? Here they mention describe and here they mention identify. So you can simply identify it here only. Simply identify it, list out the 10 values. But there is a high possibility that other students not only identify but give some one sentence meaning to it and give some examples also. So they will get extra marks. So we should have to be prepared that we should not only identify and list out, but at the same time explain the meaning shortly, briefly, and then give one example of each value. Now, this is the understanding. Second part, link with the topic of the syllabus. Topic says public or civil service values and ethics in public administration. This is the topic. So second last topic syllabus madla. So the moment we find out that this is linked to this topic, all the kind of information or the notes made under this topic becomes available to us for the writing. So let's see the different. So introduction can be right. Before that, let's see what are the different values that need to be identified, and this contains the body part. So values are integrity. I have mentioned in the definition shortly and give the example. The Ashok Khemka, this is a very much popular example, who refused to go with the political. They have been transferred many times. Like their honesty, example is Tukaram Munde. We all know that. We have to focus on, you can change example and you can write your own examples, right? So honesty. And the biggest source of example is a best practices document published by Niti Aayog. Best practices. This is one of the best. Then another second source of examples is the civil service awards. Civil services awards granted for president for the different bureaucrats across the country, be the IPS officer, IAS officer, for their distinguished service or the extraordinary work in something. So they are the 2 great sources for the public administration. Along with that, we all know that the Hindu etc. contains so much information and so much example daily. So honesty, objectivity, you should go through it. I am not expected here to go through and explain the meaning of it. Integrity, honesty, objectivity, accountability, transparency, respect for diversity. This should have to be, because otherwise his own religion or the caste or the ethnicity can influence his decision if he is not respecting the diversity. So it also contains the example also: professionalism, loyalty to the constitution, dedication to the public service, commitment to the ethical behavior, etc. So these are the traits. This contains the first part. Okay. Now what could be the introduction? So we have dealt with the first part. So introduction is public servants hold a critical role in serving the interest of the public, promoting the common good and upholding the principle of good governance. So we have to show the importance of the civil servant or public servant and the its relation with the good governance. Then and then we can only say that these 10 principles are the important for the effective public servant so that he can deliver the good governance. So we have to link that in the introduction so that it will be the all comprehensive, because in further next part of the question we have to explain the different ways and means where we can prevent the unethical behavior of the public servants. Are you getting it? So this could be the introduction. Then you can always present like this. So these are the essential values for the public servant. So that why we need to explain this, why need to we introduce this? The very big reason for it that the examiner would have a glance over all the 10 values at one spot. He will know that which values you have chosen to represent here, and from the basis of which only he can grant you the mark. Are you getting it? So this will comes handy, professionalism, dedication, all the things which we are already explained in the later slides. So you can represent in like this way. It will also improve your representation, etc. Next, to prevent unethical behavior. So how can we prevent unethical behavior? For that, you should have some form of a conceptual understanding here. So before prevention, we need to analyze the issue. What are the challenges, or why? We need to understand why. Why people behave unethically, particularly public servants. Or what are the different challenges that existed? But we don't have to write this because it is only 150 words of question. But we should understand this, then and then only we can prevent it. Are you getting it? So there are various means, like at the time of training. So you can have training which contains the ethical aspect. Ethical training. There are myth. Actually, it is a myth that you cannot teach the ethics. Yes, you can teach the ethics in the public academy. You can imbibe them. So you can create a good environment in the minds of them. So you will have the ethical understanding or ethical behavior among the public servant. Another thing is what work environment. And carefully observe these points. Work environment. Kiwa, to be specific, work culture. And this is a syllabus point. You can improve your work culture so that the ethical behavior will be encouraged. Unethical behavior is discouraged by the seniors, by the juniors, etc. So you can create the good work culture or ethical work culture, the training. Then you can have incentives and disincentives. Disincentives. For example, someone is behaving unethically, you should discourage that unethical behavior in various ways, by punishment posting, by report, annual confidential report, mentioning it annual confidential report, etc. But at the same time, you can incentivize the ethical behavior. If some public servant is behaving ethically, you can incentivize it, give some reward, give some appreciation, etc. Gives promotion, a good transfer, etc. Whatever be the. So you should decide the incentives. So at least these contains the basic things. So these are the different ways and means where you can prevent the. And at the same time, role of it, technology can also ensure. Role of technology. For example, what is unethical behavior? Corruption. Doing corruption is unethical behavior. If you introduce the technology in it, corruption automatically gets reduced. For example, e-governance, digital governance, which helps you to bring transparency in the administration and hence ensure the prevention of the unethical behavior. I am stating the statement as it is. You can write in answer, and all these words are the part of the syllabus. So most of the dimensions or the critical aspects of the answer are contains from the source from the syllabus. Okay, let's see. Training and education. Then code of conduct. Yes, definitely there is a code of All India Services Code, Central Services Conduct Code, and you should have ethical code of conduct as well. So, and with power of implementations or power of punishment. So it should the ethical code of conduct should have the power of implementation. Some sort of responsibility, accountability should be ensured that so that the ethical code of conduct should be followed. Then monitoring and enforcement. For example, through the Chief Vigilance Commission, we can say that for example there is a anti-corruption bureaus, etc. So these institutions will help to ensure the probity in the governance or the transparency in the governance or the check or prevent unethical behavior. It discourages actually monitoring and enforcement through Central Vigilance Commission, then Lokpal, Lokayukta, etc. Whistleblower protection. We have to ensure the whistleblower protection, because the moment we ensure the whistleblower protection, there going to be emerge the number of whistleblowers, and there always a threat that in the minds of the unethical behaving civil servant that someone will arise and have a complaint in his hand with the Chief Vigilance Commission, and there will be the complaint against me in the Vigilance Commission. So this threat creates or incentivizes for the ethical behavior. Then transparency and accountability. We have to ensure the transparency and accountability through proper guidelines, proper code of conduct, regulation of the laws, implementation of the laws, minimizing the discretionary, but optimizing, actually not minimizing, but optimizing the discretion. Then RTI, right? So these are the methods where we can ensure the prevention of the unethical behavior. So these are the things, and this is the answer. And lastly, the conclusion. So to prevent the unethical behavior in a public servant, there is a need to promote a culture of integrity. So now, what we did here, we closed the answer by linking both the things. Which things? Linking both things. First part and second part. First part says different traits or values, and second part says prevention of the unethical behavior. So we say that to prevent the unethical behavior, you should have these values or traits, so that you will not only be effective public servant, but at the same time you will be the ethical public servant. And these are the same value: integrity, honesty, transparency, accountability in public organization as well as public servant. Also, we need a robust accountability mechanism, regular training, education, and focus on rewarding and recognizing the ethical behavior. So we have summarized it and linked both the parts. Are you getting it? So this is how simple the ethics is. You should have source your answers from the syllabus only. Okay? Thank you for this question.